There's probably 300 or 400 working artists in this area. When the right people come here, they just flourish. You know, they connect like my mom always used to say, water seeks its own level. It's not maybe serendipity, but synchronicity with this town of St. Pete. I think one of the strongest assets that we have is, you know, our ability to collaborate with all the talent that's here. My name is Salvador St. Germain. I am a steel sculptor.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah Jacobs. I'm a ceramic artist, glass blower.
I'm Marie Cash, General Manager and founder of RhinoOnAir.com.
I'm involved with the Exquisite Corps on many levels. I guess the first level is that, you know, Jeremiah's my buddy, and when him and I started kicking the idea around, it was natural because we work together so often that we made it happen.
Welcome to Exquisite Corps International, the unveiling of a brilliant idea. Stage 3.
I had never heard about the game Exquisite Corps before in my life, and Jeremiah Jacobs and Salvador St. Germain had approached me asking me if I was familiar with the game of Exquisite Corps. I said no, and they started explaining what it was all about.
I was thinking about the Exquisite Corps drawing game that was prevalent in high school. We played it a little bit, and in college they taught it again. And I was just thinking what a wonderful way that was to collaborate.
One artist would draw the head, opens it up, gives it to the next artist, draws a torso, closes it, the next one draws the legs. When you open it, that is what an Exquisite Corpse looks like. We have brought it now into the new millennium, doing this game in 2D and 3D. 2D being on canvas, 3D being in sculptures.
That's how this came about. You can see here's the first concept corpse. That Salvador St. Germain, Josh Pohl, and myself created.
Well, I will say that I enjoy the interaction of hashing out an idea with another artist and kind of figuring out solutions to problems that come up. And with the Exquisite Corpse, it's, you know, it's got to be so secret, so we can't talk to anybody or use our collaborators as, you know, as a crutch or some help. So it's been different.
Every artist was sworn to secrecy.
I didn't even take a picture for my own records to show anybody. Everyone asked me, oh, what are you working on? Let me see some pictures. And I was like, sorry, I can't. You're just gonna have to come to the opening.
There's like a little secretive aspect to it, to where, you know, the pieces are separated and you don't know who you're collaborating with.
You know, you got young artists that are just starting out, you got older artists that have been artists for 30 years. Who do you pick? You need a good variety. You can't just say, all right, I'm gonna take all the people who have established art careers and that are, you know, well-known artists and that are, you know, very comfortable in their trade and just showcase them, because that's not showcasing the true essence of Exquisite Corpse.
Today has been an exciting day because tomorrow is going to be the unveiling of the Exquisite Corpse. And the excitement and the anticipation and the not knowing is just mind-boggling.
I can't wait to see this all culminate. You know, we've been all working and everybody's been talking about it and there's a buzz on the street, you know, and I just know my one little part, and I'm kind of excited just to see how it fits into the piece that I'm working on. But now I know there's at least 7 other people. I have no idea even how many pieces there are, but you know, I can't wait. And everybody is, you know, when everybody gets excited about it and you have this much creative energy getting poured into one event, it's bound to be cool. And with all the different people that are working and all the different talents and, you know, the mediums, it's gonna be an exciting show, and I really just can't wait to see it.
My name is Cash-Levasseur. People call me Rooster because I paint these giant roosters that do really well for me. I'm an artist. I like, you know, thinking out of the box. Sometimes it's another way of, you know, getting yourself from painting what I usually do, you know, the dresses and roosters and abstracts, and this will make me think out of the box and do something totally different.
You know, I knew all the people in it were good, and it was like, oh, please don't let mine be a piece of crap compared to theirs. But it was as good. And I knew it was good, but you just never know. After you do things, you always have such doubts. I always have such doubts. I can't wait for the show. I think it's going to be just so outstanding.
This Exquisite Corpse experience for me has been eye-opening, challenging.
I know that I'm going to be blown away when I see what everybody else done and how the pieces fit together. It should be pretty great.
T-minus 24 hours, we realized that all the pieces are in, everything's in place, the catering, the thunder, the lightning, and everything's in place, and now it's really happening.
Well, right before the event, come to find out that we had 2 sculptures that were missing a head. One was the main piece, the full-size piece.
Doing the full-size corpses, like it was right up to the last minute.
Then we had another one of the sculptures that one of the artists that was going to participate got sick last minute, was not able to do so.
Anne-Marie really came through and took charge. The way that she handled everything that night was such a relief.
So at the end of the day, with these experiences, with the things that we have gone through, things that we have learned, as long as you're doing it for the love of the arts, that you stay true to the initial purpose, everything else will continue to flow.
Well, the unveiling at the Exquisite Corpse was fantastic. I mean, it was so well orchestrated and just such an amazing event. You know, the actual unveiling, I mean, the roar at the museum, the crowds that were there to see these unveilings of the sculptures and the paintings, you know, it was just invigorating.
It was even difficult to get a photo of your piece. There was just that many people there that you just couldn't get anywhere near your piece with a camera. That's how packed it was.
Oh, the reveal was so exhilarating. I have never seen the Museum of Fine Arts buzz so big.
The way it all came together, magical maybe is a word, I guess that I'd use for it. The energy in the room was almost indescribable.
And oh my gosh, it exceeded everybody's expectations. It exceeded my expectations. I really had none other than wanting to see the pieces and to see how this whole thing came together. But that night was magical.
This is St. Petersburg. You know, a lot of times people ask me about different cities and what they're doing and what's Tampa doing and what's Miami doing and so forth. And it occurred to me, and it is very, very clear tonight, that St. Petersburg doesn't compare to any other city that we can compare it to. The closest thing I can compare it to is Paris in the 1920s.
All of the pieces, I was pretty much dumbfounded on how amazing they all fit together, including the 2D work, which you know, it was stunning to me. I was really blown away by all of the pieces.
My name is Robert Lever. I was born in Bury in the northwest of England. I became involved in the Exquisite Corps International when I was contacted by Paul Ripley of Fab Radio International. I was interested in getting involved because I've never done anything like this before, and I thought a collaboration, which is essentially what it is, with well, international artists, and I did see some of their work, of the people who were participating, who are obviously you know, good quality artists. So it'd be interesting to work on something with them, and I didn't know what the outcome was or would be. So I think that's quite interesting as well, because it's could take me off in a new direction. Could be, you know, could take me anywhere really. So yeah, that's why I've been involved. The medium is, it's hardboard or masonite, as I believe it's called over there. Oil paint, it's all oil, masonite, and then that's stuck onto plyboard. Yeah, that's.
You looking forward to the reveal?
I'm looking forward to the reveal. Unfortunately, I might not be able to make it to St. Petersburg for that, but yeah, well, no. But other than that, yes, it'd be nice to be there, but because of work commitments, it's unlikely I'll be there.
When it comes to the UK?
When it comes to the UK, I'll certainly be there, yeah. Yeah. Do we know where it's going to be yet? Can you say?
Secret.
Oh, it's secret. Okay. Well, yeah, wherever it is in the UK, I'll make sure I'm there, yeah, definitely.
My name is Audrey Rignon, and I'm the Director of Retail Operations and Museum Events for the Museum of Fine Arts. One day I had lunch with Anne-Marie, Sal, and Jeremiah, and they came with this terrific conversation and idea, and the passion that they had for the game. And I sat at lunch for the entire time with goosebumps and said, the Museum of Fine Arts has to do this event.
I'm Kent Leidecker, Director of the Museum of Fine Arts, St. Petersburg, Florida. The museum has been here since 1961. We opened our doors in 1965, so 2015 was our 50th anniversary. Our museum is rooted in the community, was created by the community around an idea that a great city needed a great art museum.
And it's a great museum, a great little museum. It's actually not as little as it once was. When I first started going there, it was a little museum, but it's not, I can't really say that anymore. There are collections, amazing.
Well, it's very exciting. Our purpose is to serve and engage our community. We have many artists in St. Petersburg with extraordinary creativity, and the opportunity to bring people together in the museum to celebrate the arts and aesthetic achievement is always something we want to be involved with.
Jeremiah Jacobs asked me to, if I would be interested to participate in the Exquisite Corpse. And as he was explaining to me what it was, I remembered as a child playing this game at home with strips of paper. And it was so much fun because it didn't matter what your skill level was or whether you were an adult or a child. The results after the unfurling of the piece of paper were always something that all of us could laugh about and were enjoyed doing.
It's a great project. We did a lot of learning with this. There was so much to learn. We failed many times before we got it right.
In that process of coming up with ideas for the game, they actually developed a crate, which is, I would say, is the secret sauce of this whole game and why we are doing it so differently than anybody else has done it so far.
We had the problem of how can we play this game where we have a leg, torso, and head section that the other players can't see who's working on what.
The crate is the most important part of this game because it's not only what keeps this game secret, but it's also going to be the stand for the actual pieces in the museum. It also asks for marketing.
So that our sponsors, who are absolutely critical in making this game happen and wouldn't be without them, they are on full display to all the public to see that this is what it takes to pull together a show of this magnitude. This is a proprietary piece. This is something we invented that we are patenting that makes this game possible. And it's kind of, when you say think outside the box, first think about building the box.
We had about 3 weeks to work on our portion, and probably 2 of that was like planning, figuring out exactly what to do.
I liked some of the challenges of the Exquisite Corpse project because you have to be careful of your light source. You can't have a strong light going from one to another because you don't know what other people's light sources are going to be. So you have to stay fairly nebulous with that. You can't put a lot of weight on one foot or the other, so because that would affect the body. So there was some intermediate things that needed to be done. And I oftentimes overthink things, and this was one that after I got started, I didn't overthink it. If it came in my mind, I just painted it in there.
And Marie invited me, and at first I was a little bit hesitant because I'm not a great collaborator when it comes to working with other artists. I enjoy working by myself. So in the beginning I was reluctant, but she was persistent and eventually talked me into doing it.
I moved here from St. John in the Virgin Islands. It's just a teeny tiny speck of an island in the Caribbean. It was really beautiful there, but I didn't have any art community at all. We were the only glass studio and the only art studio really. So it's been a really incredible experience moving here and becoming part of this whole neighborhood and this art community.
The point, one of the hallmarks of cybercraft robots is that it looks like those parts belong together. Even if you can look at them and see that some part of that is part of a lamp and that's part of a bowl, and you can tell, oh no wait, it looks like they're really meant to be together. I was one of the museum exhibits that I did. A little kid came up to me and he said, and it was all robots at this exhibit, and he leaned over and he said, "Yours are the only ones that look like they could get up and walk away." And I practically wanted to kiss that little kid because it's exactly what I look for.
I usually like to tell a story, even if it's a portrait. There's usually always some sort of story behind it. I've been painting for, I've figured out 26 years, since I was 12 years old. So actually 27 years. I got my first set of oil paints when I was 12. And one of my first jobs was painting pet portraits when I was in high school.
Every time I uncover a stone, there's more artists there, there's more creativity in all different media, and it's just so exciting to be a part of it. So in this particular project, it's really meaningful because now it's this collaborative effort where we all get to create something together, and that's really pretty special.
Without the art community here, I wouldn't exist as a sculptor.
Anybody you want to call out specifically?
Yeah, specifically, yes. My mentor, Mark Ehrling, I met him by happenstance 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and started working for him, and it changed my life.
St. Petersburg has become an incredibly diverse arts community, and Exquisite Corpse is another element of this growing diversity in the arts. So it becomes another puzzle piece that connects internationally the dots and expands the entire arts community. So it adds depth to the art experience.
Ever since I moved here, I was impressed with the number and quality of artists here, and the people, not just that, but also the welcoming. It seemed like other places I'd been, the artists were real secretive and kept to themselves and just competitive. They didn't want to share anything. Whereas St. Pete was an art community. Everybody, you know, shared what they knew. It was different. It was like this whole town was an artist colony.
I'm Charlie Parker from Charlie Parker Pottery. We currently have about 20 artists that work out of here. We have plenty of artists that feed off of each other in this area. Again, it's always a pleasure to see the door open and have a friend stop by.
We started looking for studio spaces. We didn't really think about a business. We just were looking for somewhere to be creative and to make our work.
Kind of just jumped in with both feet and went for it, and here we are today.
We were able to rent space to other artists, mostly glass artists, but other artists as well. Christian Zvonek was a metal artist that rented a space.
Art gives us opportunities to talk about the sublime. It gives us opportunities to talk about the gray areas between the hard black and white of what people, you know, believe or think about or work for. You know, it gives us an opportunity to overlap with other people and other ideas and other concepts and to open up and to appreciate things like art and beauty.
The great thing about St. Pete is they embrace art of all kinds.
For the past 27 years, I've watched St. Pete go from a desolate, suburban, no man's land to a thriving art community.
The community that I was introduced to, like Duncan McClellan, who's a major advocate of the arts. I mean, an amazing sculptor himself and glassblower, but he does everything and more for the arts community here in St. Pete.
We all got involved and excited about Exquisite Corpse. It was a way to involve the entire community with many different disciplines. And we're very pleased to be one of the sponsors to be able to see this idea carried forward.
Duncan has been gracious enough to allot us a couple of hours to hot sculpt a new head for the full-size concept version of Exquisite Corpse International. We had a little mishap with the last head. We lost it, and so Duncan has allowed us to come over here and make a new one. Very, very nice of him to allow that, very good of him.
What are you doing now, Eli?
We're going to be pulling out the eyeball. So we've got the right eye in it, we're going to get the left eye. So he's a good looker.
Well, I came from Tampa originally because of the St. Pete art scene. And it's developed quite a bit in the last few years. The Warehouse Arts District wasn't even here 5 years ago. But people like Mark Ayling and Catherine Woods that lived in the neighborhood, Dan Painter, all got behind an idea which was to form a community of artists within a mile-square area.
We want to spread the word with the world that arts and culture can help develop happy, fun, healthy communities.
I think this project has the capabilities to touch people around the world, to be able to combine people from around the planet. And that was like when that idea came about, like, oh my God, we could ship this over to the UK, they could send it back, and wow, well, wait a minute, what about Japan? What about all these other places? All of a sudden, there's the idea of the Japanese wood sculptor with the Seattle glassblower coming back home to St. Pete, you know, and just looking at it in the regards of a global collaboration, I think is where the future of this game is going to go, and I hope that's where it goes. I can't wait to see that happen.
It's just the beginning. I mean, now is when the real work starts. You know, it's kind of like hitting the playoffs. Like, we made the playoffs, now we got to win. And that means, you know, it's still showing up and working hard and promoting the show and fundraising, getting interest, and it's a labor of love, but also that it's our legacy. It's, you know, I think it's what St. Pete deserves to have, is a major international art show that they call their own.
We had over 600 people that showed up to the Museum of Fine Arts, And it could not have been at a better venue. I mean, the Museum of Fine Arts is a great place to have an unveiling of an event like this because it was magical.
And that's the thing, you know, like that was just the beginning, you know, for Lost Words, that was just the beginning. And now that it's traveling and it's going about and the response that people get, even just recently we had an opening in Clearwater where people saw the exhibit and people I'd never met, and they're like, it's the strongest artistic concept that I've ever seen. The collaboration's amazing. I can't believe the way the pieces came together, and it just, you know, the accolades keep rolling, and it makes me really proud to be involved with it.
Now from there, the Parade of Corpses is leaving, and I think the first stop is in March, and it's going to be in Cairo. From Cairo, it's going to London, and then from London, it's going to Japan. And then hopefully after that, it's coming back to the United States.
Well, and I know that Anne-Marie is probably dying to tell you this, but I'm going to reveal that next year's event will be November 10th, another Thursday night here at the Museum of Fine Arts.
We want to spread the word with the world that arts and culture can help develop happy, fun, healthy communities.
Live strong and leave an exquisite corpse. Tentacle fingers feel sensation. Supersonic ears detect vibration. Reach for the stars and Jupiter and Mars, knowing that you are so much more than an exquisite corpse. Once upon a time I saw you break the chains that tie us by.